Finding problems? That's easy. They exist in every community. I'm Terry Springs, your host. We're looking deeper, and we are talking solutions, finding out how we all can make a difference. Now on Talking Solutions, want to welcome Tod Bannister from UNLV Athletics. Tod, what do you actually handle for the UNLV Athletics Department?
I'm Associate Athletic Director for Development with the Rebel Athletic Fund.
I love UNLV for so many reasons. And back in the day, this has been about 20 years ago, I remember going out for like a ladies' night. It was somewhere in the Thomas and Mack, and we were teaching women the ins and outs of basketball or football. We lined up in Rebel Park and learned what it was like to line up and get in the right positions for football. And so I've gone through some different stuff, and I just love all of the interactions that I've had with the UNLV Athletic Department.
Well, it's funny. There used to be a Football 101 I remember that they had, and now they still have I think it's Women's and Heels Night for our men's basketball program, where the specific audience is female only. And so when you start to look at the demographics and you start to look at people that are getting involved in college sports as fans, donors, season ticket holders, the female population continues to grow. And the more that we can do to service that population by exposing them to kind of the intricacies of basketball, football, and other sports, I think the better it's going to bode. Because when you have a fan that comes to a game, the more he or she knows about the game, the more involved that they will become. And to have those opportunities available to members of the community, in particular the female segment of the community, I think is just great.
We have so much fun learning it. Let me tell you how long ago this was. Tod, Bill Bano was the basketball coach. Horton was the football coach.
Jeff Horton.
Jeff Horton, thank you. And his wife, Terry, in fact, came up to me at the end of it, and she said, I saw you on TV. She said, I saw you on TV, and I called my mom, and I said, I've got what she's got, because they were interviewing me about having MS. She said, all of your symptoms sound like mine, and it turned out that his wife, Terry, was a person with MS. She didn't know. She was going through the diagnosis stage at that point.
It's a very, very small world, and especially in this community when, I've been here for almost 3 years now, and you meet someone who knows someone, and you know 20 people, and they know 100 people in this community, and it's just amazing. And to your point about knowing somebody that has MS, for example, is that athletics has the opportunity to bring all kinds of people together. It doesn't matter male, female, young, old, race, religion. It doesn't matter. Everyone loves athletics to some way, shape, or form. And to bring those different various segments of the population together, coming to watch an athletic event, I think is incredible. And athletics does so many things, but for that alone, I think it needs to be given 5 gold stars.
I agree. It unites us.
Yes.
I love getting behind UNLV. I almost wore one of my old vintage UNLV jerseys, but I didn't.
It's okay. You have almost a scarlet top on. Yeah, it's close.
All right. Tod, you said that you've been in town, 3 years?
Just about 3 years in July. Yeah.
How'd you get involved in all of this?
It's amazing. I've been in college athletics for a long time. In 1990, I actually used to coach at the University of the Pacific as an assistant basketball coach. And back in those days, UNLV had the great teams of Larry Johnson, Stacey Ogman, winning national championships, Tark, and the whole deal. And I remember I was a 29-year-old kid as an assistant, and I walked into the Thomas and Mack for the very first time the night we played UNLV, and I saw the fireworks show. And I looked at one of the other assistants that I was coaching with, and I says, I don't know what it's going to take, but I will live in this city one day. And from then on, I've kind of had a love affair with Las Vegas. We would come every summer for recruiting. All of the high school tournaments were here. And so every July, I would spend time here in the heat of the heat and just enjoyed the heck out of it. So after my coaching days, I got into college administration. I worked at Cal, at UCLA. I worked at a couple of other places. And when an opportunity came available to move to Las Vegas, I just took it immediately. And I've loved every day that I've been here.
In the area of college athletics, Las Vegas has so much potential.
Yeah.
We get more and more basketball tournaments. I just see with the facilities also that we now have on site, also stuff that's in the planning stages, this is going to be an ever more exciting city for different athletic events.
This is crazy. I've been in some big metropolitan areas, like when I was at Cal, I was in Berkeley, San Francisco, Oakland. So you had the Giants, the A's, the 49ers, the Raiders. You had a number of professional teams that you had to compete against, along with Stanford and San Jose State and St. Mary's and other schools. UCLA was the same way. When you're in LA, it's the Lakers, it's the Clippers, it's UCLA, it's Long Beach State, it's UC Irvine. There's a number of other universities and professional teams to compete against. Here in Las Vegas, it's the most unique situation I've ever been in. It's kind of a one-horse town right now. I mean, having the NHL is great, and who knows what's going to happen in the future with the Raiders. If the Raiders come, that's great. But we've been a one-horse town for a long time, and we're kind of the city's team. College athletics to me is like a stock. It goes up, it goes down, and even historic programs like UCLA basketball now, which is on the way up, was down for a number of years. And college athletics has a tendency to do that, it's important for the community to stay involved. I mean, people win and lose because you create great home court advantages, because you recruit great players, because you have great coaches, but it takes all of three elements together to have success. And in Las Vegas, I just remember coming to games with 19,000 people, and even as little as 3 or 4 years ago, you have 13, 14,000 people at Thomas and Mack. And when you start to create those home court advantages, it's just so difficult for opponents to come in and win, and we can provide that at UNLV. As you have an opportunity to create those home court advantages, to bring people into the venue, and to really make it difficult for the opponents, but to create a great experience for your current student athletes who are playing at UNLV.
We've got some interesting coaches right now. I know Marvin Menzies is rather new to our program for basketball. He's going to get it. He was doing great when we hired him away for the Rebels.
Yeah, Marvin spent a number of years at New Mexico State, but he's really learned with some really great coaches. He worked for Steve Fisher at San Diego State, who's a fantastic coach. Mm-hmm. He actually worked with Lon Kruger at UNLV when Lon was here as an assistant, went with Rick Pitino at the University of Louisville. So he's had a chance to work with some great head coaches. And Marvin's got deep connections in Los Angeles, and he's charismatic, he's enthusiastic, he's energetic. He had a tough year, but you really believe that he's going to bounce back, he's going to get it right, and basketball will be corrected. He's just a fantastic person to work with. He's got energy and enthusiasm. He did a fantastic job at New Mexico State, went to a number of NCAA tournaments, won 20 or more games almost every year that he was there, and I think that he's going to be fantastic. I think folks just need to hang in there, and we truly love the support, but we will get this thing right, and I really believe that Marvin's the right guy to do this.
We've been running a lot of public service announcements on our Beasley media stations for the UNLV Alumni Association. Are they involved with the golf tournament that is coming up?
Well, really, this has been fantastic experience for me now that I've worked in the Alumni Association and athletics also, is that there's such a good relationship that currently exists between leadership of the Alumni Association with Jim Radigan and the athletic department at UNLV with Tina Kunzer-Murphy. And first of all, they're very close friends, and they've worked together for so long. It's nice that we can share databases in terms of getting information out. So if we have an event such as the golf tournament coming out, that they are more than happy to distribute that to their 80,000 or so email addresses that they've got, over 100,000 alumni. They get the word out. And if there's an alumni event upcoming like the Alumni of the Year Awards, we're more than happy to advertise it through our social media channels, through our websites, through our databases. And so there's such a close collaboration. In a lot of other places that doesn't exist. It really does not exist. Alumni associations really don't get involved with the athletic department unless there's a big road football game, for example, or something that they want to use from the athletic department in their assets. There is a real collaboration here that goes on between the Alumni Association and the athletic department, I think, which is extremely healthy. We're in the process now of really ramping up. President Jessup wants a tier 1 institution or a top tier institution. Mm-hmm. And in order for that to happen, we're going to need more and more alumni participation. We're going to need to identify who these alumni are. And so it's going to take alumni finding other alumni in order for us to continue to grow. I mean, USC, for example, is in the middle of a $6 billion campaign. They were talking about 300,000 donors, and many of those donors were not even USC graduates. So for us to really get to the level that we need to get, we're going to need the entire community, whether you were an alumni member or you were not an alum of UNLV, because we have such a interesting demographic here where there's so many people that came from Michigan, from New York, from Texas, from California that are living in this city now. So a lot of them have allegiances to other particular institutions, which is great, but the University of Nevada, Las Vegas is Las Vegas's university. If I live and work somewhere, I'm going to support the university that I live and work in. And I can still do my thing for the Bay Area school that I might have went to, but yet UNLV is really representative of the city of Las Vegas.
This is our school.
Yes, it is.
We've got Tod Bannister in from UNLV, and you are part of the athletic department there at the
Correct.
school. Tod, you were saying about noticing what a small community this is. We are. When you get underneath the surface and you start learning about this city, Southern Nevada in general, it really is a small nucleus of very caring people. This is home. This is not what the tourists see when they're looking at Las Vegas. There is a very, very dedicated core to this city, and it's exciting to be part of it. It's good that you're here.
Like I said, I absolutely love it, and I think it's a very philanthropic city. I think that the number of events that I go to and the number of events that my friends attend philanthropically here in the city is incredible for a population of about 2 million folks. I mean, in the Bay Area, you've got 3, 4, 5 million people, twice, 3 times the size. Los Angeles, obviously, is a much larger place, but there's a lot of heavy lifting that's done in the city of Las Vegas by a few people. And it's nice if we can extend that network and to get more people into the fold. And it doesn't matter if you support autism, if you support the American Cancer Society or Opportunity Village or the Rebel Athletic Fund or whatever it is. It's just a matter of getting people involved in a cause that matters to them because, at the end, we're all going to get measured by what we give back. And I think that you pick causes you're really passionate about, whether it's, hey, you've got 10-year-old kids who love to go watch football games and you go watch Tony Sanchez's team play out at Sam Boyd Stadium, or you have an affinity in your heart for Opportunity Village or whatever the case is. It's getting involved in that cause and making the cause great because that's what's going to make this a great city, is to get more people involved, helping in those particular initiatives and getting the city at a whole different level.
Absolutely agreed. Tod, one of the events that's coming up that I'd like to shine a light on, it's your golf tournament, the Scholarship Golf Classic for the Rebel Athletic Fund, and it's happening at Southern Highlands Tuesday, April 4th, just a little more than a week from now. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. It's been hosted at Southern Highlands now for a few years, and they just do a fantastic job for us. We've sold it out the last couple of years, and we're close to having it sold out this year, but we are still looking for a few sponsors, so if folks want to help, we do have a breakfast sponsorship available, for example. We've got some other opportunities for people to support the event, but all of the proceeds from this tournament goes directly for scholarship support. And I don't think people quite understand how that whole process works because of the way states are. And it's not just Nevada, it's every state in the country. Fewer and fewer dollars are going to support higher education. So higher education, whether it's a public education or whatever the case is, needs to receive philanthropic support for initiatives that they want to have, whether it's recruiting better engineering students or better football or basketball or soccer or golf players, whatever the case is. All of this money goes to help that scholarship cost. And, scholarship bills are anywhere in the neighborhood of $5, $6, $7 million a year to scholarship everybody. We've got about 450 student athletes who participate in 17 sports that we sponsor at UNLV. So this is not just a tournament that benefits the golf program or the football program or the soccer program, the basketball. It helps all scholarship student recipients. And now with the NCAA coming in with cost of attendance, that's another cost that the universities are going to have to incur so that student athletes can help subsidize just the cost of their educational experience, which is a very good initiative, but it's going to be more expensive for the universities to provide that cost. All of these dollars go for tuition needs. It's the neighborhood of about $20,000, $22,000 a year to put a student through school at UNLV, books, room and board, academic needs, tutorial support, medical needs that they might have, all of those things. And these dollars that we raise through this golf tournament will go to help those initiatives.
It is the Scholarship Golf Classic at Southern Highlands, happening a week from Tuesday on April 4th. Now, Tod, I heard you also mentioning before we were coming into the studio that you've got some other things kind of on the horizon.
Yeah, we do. We do actually. So we are going to bring back the UNLV Athletics Hall of Fame, which we haven't had an event since, I believe, 2012. So it's been about a 5-year hiatus, and that will come back on May the 4th. So on May the 4th, we will be honoring former student athletes that participate in a number of sports to receive awards at this particular event. This Wednesday, we will actually announce in a press release who these recipients are. It's going to be really, really a good event. And the inductees have been notified, and they'll all be there, which is great to have all the inductees back at the event. And again, it'll be on May the 4th at the Strip View Pavilion, the new facility that they just built in an attachment to the Thomas and Mack Center. It's about 11 or 12,000 square feet, beautiful space, overlooks the Strip. It's going to be a wonderful opportunity. So if folks are interested to find out, Wednesday we'll know who the recipients actually are, and then call our office so we can set you up on how that could work, so how you can pay tribute to the inductees.
Tod Bannister is with us. We're talking about UNLV athletics and different fundraising events that you have going on. I would imagine also the Hall of Fame that you're bringing back after a 5-year hiatus, that it would also be possibly raising funds for something?
Well, not really. We ask our folks to do so much, whether it's the purchasing of tickets, through the donation that's required of the tickets, through the Loyalty Circle program. We have so many different initiatives that this is kind of a break-even event, to be honest with you. So we like to bring it back. We want to honor the inductees. Folks can make contributions to it, obviously. We sell tables and all of that kind of stuff. But if we just kind of break even or make a few bucks on it, that's great for us. We really want it to be a relaxing evening because we know that, like everybody else, our donors are taxed and
asking all the time.
We're asking a lot of. We understand understand that. We're very appreciative, but this is just an evening to honor the folks who have done so much for UNLV during their undergraduate career.
We have so much to celebrate with sports and UNLV. Former students, members of the golf team who have gone on to do great things. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on. Lady Rebels basketball, too. The hockey team we've heard a lot about. Yes. There's a lot going on with UNLV athletics.
Yeah, there is. I should have brought a cheat sheet just to see what it is, but it was funny. I was watching the golf tournament this weekend. Charlie Hoffman, former UNLV golfer, I think finished second, tied for second or finished second. Kathy Olivier did a great job. They got to the women's NIT, were beaten at Colorado, but they had a heck of a year. They lost their point guard early in the year, who's a great player, and I think that Kathy has pretty much her whole team back next year. So there's a lot of things going on. I mean, obviously, we know about football and basketball because they make most of the headlines most of the times, but there are 17 sports and, like I said, 450 or so athletes that participate in a number of these sports, and that's really what college is about. You know, like I said, I've been involved in college athletics my whole life, and I just look at what it did for me and what it's done for other people in leadership positions, not just in the city of Las Vegas, but other places I've been. And if you look at people who are in leadership positions, a lot of them, whether it's just, high school football, high school basketball, college athletics, whatever the case is, people's lives are formed through athletics, I think. And then the dedication, the commitment, the teamwork, the working with others, all of those attributes that people need in order to survive in the workplace today, I think a lot of them are learned through athletics. I mean, I'm still in close contacts with the coaches that I had in my life. Being a former coach, I still see my former players. I was at the Pac-12 tournament 2 weeks ago, and I saw two of my former players that played for me at the University of the Pacific, and they're both doing great. One of them works for Nike. One of them has his own company in Carmel. It's just fantastic. And I really believe in my heart of hearts, and they will tell me that athletics had a lot to do with their success because of the discipline and the commitment that they had to experience while it was that they were playing athletics.
It develops so many parts of your character. And we were watching some of the college basketball games, and they were once again reminding us the small percentage of players in sports in college that go on to professional. It was something like 2%.
You hit the number on the head. Yeah, it's about 2%. And you look at everyone that plays in college athletics, and some schools like Stanford and Cal, they sponsor like 30, 35 sports. So the amount of people that they have a chance to impact and the small percentage of those folks that ever have an opportunity to make money playing sports is minuscule. But yet I think that people play because they love it, because they have a passion for it, because they're just wired a little bit differently. You look at the average student at school who spends numerous hours, probably takes 15, 16 credits a semester, numerous hours studying. Oh, and by the way, he or she plays tennis, or he or she plays golf or football or whatever the case is, and you start to look at, there's 20 more hours on top of that they have to put in for their team participation and practice and film watching and travel and all these other things that go into it, that these kids really at 18 to 22 years of age, give or take, have a lot of stressors on their lives. And when you learn the commitment and the regiment of what athletics can do, it's a wonderful feeling. And I think for folks that want to support that kind of mission, I think that UNLV is a great opportunity to do that.
For the energy of the 18 to 22-year-old. I'm trying to remember what that was like.
It's a long time ago for me.
Boy, I'll tell you, that well-rounded college experience and makes it really special. Tod, we always ask our guests on Talking Solutions, what can we do to help you?
I think it's now a matter of just getting the word out. People know what UNLV is. People know kind of what student athletes are, what athletics are, but there's a philanthropic piece to all of that goes to support what it is that these student athletes do on a day-to-day basis. And we really ask for ambassadorships. I mean, receiving money is great. The donations, the contributions that we have from very generous folks throughout the community are wonderful. But if they can help to spread the word about why it's important to get involved, why it's important to support student athletes, all of those kind of things, I think is helpful. So anything that the listening audience can do in order to really say, hey, let's go check out a football game or check out a baseball game, because when you have an opportunity to meet some of these student athletes, I think people would be shocked at what they would experience in terms of just politeness, kindness. They're courteous, they're givers. We are involved in the community. Our student athletes spend thousands of hours a year helping various community projects throughout the Las Vegas area. And the nice thing, too, is a lot of the student athletes who play are going to live here and work here. So why not make their experience as positive as possible? Because you know that they could be your neighbors, your coworkers, your employees in the upcoming decade or 2 decades to come.
Absolutely true. And by us supporting athletic events, you see the kids, and they are kids to me. I'm sorry.
They
18 to 22, that's kids. you see them turn around and they're giving back. They're visiting Children's Hospital. They're reading to children in school classes. They're spreading the love.
Yeah.
And they're an important part of our community as well.
Yeah. Anything that we can do to make their experience better, because I want to keep these people in the Las Vegas community. I want 100% of our student athletes to stay and work and live in Las Vegas, because I know what a great experience I've had in my brief 3-year time period. It's kind of nice to mold a life and to really have an impact, and then have that person become a 25-year-old employee of the MGM or a 32-year-old employee of Faraday Future or whatever the case is, I think is great. And to see that person go from 18 to 30 to 40 is wonderful.
I understand the way you're talking, Todd. I really do, because I'm really high on Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I really believe in this city. I see people who are givers all the time.
Yeah.
There's so much good here. So it's pretty simple. When I ask, what can we do to help you? You're turning around and saying, just support UNLV and UNLV athletics. Easy enough.
Mm-hmm. Piece of cake.
Got the golf tournament coming up a week from Tuesday, April 4th at Southern Highlands. The Scholarship Golf Classic. Still some sponsorship opportunities. Maybe somebody, if they acted on this quickly, might be able to get their way in.
Might be able to get a foursome in, but also we've got tons of sponsorship opportunities. We do have a breakfast sponsorship opportunity, which is great, but we also sell tee signs. And so we have a basically unlimited amount of tee signs that we can put out there at Southern Highlands. And they're $250, and it's really a nice golf ball design, and it's going to have your company logo on it. So everybody knows that, hey, look, we're involved with this. It's, $250, and we're going to help try to support the scholarship opportunity, because I don't think that people even understand what $250 can do. It costs about $800 a year to put books into the hands of student athletes, and $250 can pay for a third of the books that a student athlete would need. Tutorial hours. It's not that these kids are getting free tutors. The tutors are a hard cost to the athletic department. $250 can buy a number of tutorial hours that a student can have, whether it's a biology class, a math class, a business class, to help defer that cost or help with that cost as well. So any amount helps, but it's a $250 buy-in for just a tee sign, and we can put your tee sign out on the golf course too. And we'll have 144 golfers out there. It'll be great. Hopefully the weather, fingers crossed, will be nice, and it's a beautiful venue out at Southern Highlands.
And the UNLV Hall of Fame ceremony is returning after a 5-year hiatus. That's going to be on May 4th. So opportunities to get involved with that are also to come in the very near future. Tell you what I'll do, Todd. I will also put the links on our Talking Solutions Facebook page, along with the podcast of our discussion today.
That is so nice.
Hey, that's what we do around here. It's all part of being part of the community, and that's what it's all about. Tod Bannister from UNLV Athletics, thank you so much for joining us today on Talking Solutions.
Thanks, Tara. I had a great time.